So welcome back on the program. Now it's time to talk. Artificial intelligence is powering a new global revolution, transforming economies, industries, and everyday life for Africa. It could be a game changer in health, agriculture, and in education. Nigeria, with its massive youth population, is thriving in technology ecosystem and has made its potential to lead this revolution. But the turning potential into progress will require stronger policies, digital infrastructure, and investment that prepare workforce for an AI-driven future. The challenge is urgent, and the opportunity is clear. Can Nigeria position itself as Africa's AI powerhouse? Now, join us for this conversation is an author of Silicon Valley Girl, Mayowa Ijisesan. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, she's popularly known as Pastor May.
That's right.
Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation this morning. Talking about artificial intelligence at this time. How far have we gone in Nigeria adopting this technology?
Well, I see a lot of excitement around it. I see a lot of trainings, a lot of conferences, a lot of people getting together, coming together. To learn more about it and to use it in certain areas already. It's already powering things like advertisements. Of course, you have your day-to-day use of, maybe using it as a companion in composing your emails, checking out your writing and things like that, even at the workplace. So there's quite a bit of adoption
Checking
already.
out your writing, doesn't that make a lot of Nigerians now a bit lazy? That's right.
That's what it seems at the first look at it, that, I'm not going to be thinking that critically anymore, but it frees up your mind to do more. That's what, at least we're seeing in even more developed economies. Like when the things that can be delegated are delegated, it frees up your mind to be more creative and to solve more problems. Of course, taking responsibility for your own progress, you have to be careful about how much of your mind you then, delegate to AI. But at the same time, it's not that bad that we are using it to do day-to-day things so we can think bigger.
I love the fact that you raised the concept of solving problems. So how far have you been able to solve problems using AI at this time?
Well,
as an expert.
As an expert. Well, right now, I was here last year.
Yeah.
We talked about an AI company, data analytics company, startup that I was a part of. I'm glad to announce we've released our product. And one of the things AI is helping us to do for companies with that product, or even with individuals, is to do data analytics in a more democratized way.
How do you mean?
Yes, when you hear the term data analytics, it seems so big, it seems like it's so complex, but AI has helped us to put it in the hands of the day-to-day person. Anyone who is doing business, anyone who is selling something can do data analytics in a way that they can easily understand, because AI has helped us to abstract the more complicated parts of data analytics. And that's some of what I see happening across the board. Even more so for us here in Africa. And one thing about AI is that even if the technology is rapidly advancing, and even if the use case you are thinking of hasn't been solved for yet, the fact that you can think it right now is gold. Somebody that I respect so much says ideas rule the world.
Absolutely.
In this world of AI, it's actually becoming so.
So there's this fear and perception about AI that when you adopt more on or invest more on AI, you lose your job. And so can you balance this? At what point can you make use of AI and you're still in charge?
Yes. Well, I'd like to, paint a picture that's not the case. I'd like to say that's not the case, but I would be lying. So but our response needs to be different. Instead of being afraid that AI is going to take over my job, our response should be, how can I work together with AI? Because AI is always going to need, is still going to need humans in the loop. right? So how can I power my job, what I do day to day, or my business with AI? Because if I, because of fear, just avoid it, then I'm not going to be competing with human beings. For example, if I'm an entrepreneur and I don't figure out how AI is going to power my business, and I feel like, okay, you know, I'm going to just stay away from AI, I don't want it to take over, guess what? In a few years' time, your competition is not going to be another human being. Your competition is going to be a human being who is using AI. So we need to get ahead of the curve.
Okay.
In our downtime.
So at what point can we get ahead of that curve?
It's through learning, actually. I think that the game changer or the answer for everyone is to be a learner. Everyone is learning. What do I mean? We need to learn how AI can help us. We need to learn how AI can work side by side as a companion in what we do. Even if there are things that you would rather do by yourself and you figured out how to do by yourself, can start experimenting on how can AI help me do this better, even if I don't need it. Why? Because it's only going to get more intense.
Let's talk about your background at the moment. I saw something, an interview you did that my boss at the time called me into our office and said, can you just get started? That we will be your first client. So tell us about your background, on how you left that job and you started doing something better for yourself in the tech industry.
Wow, that was unexpected. I was shocked when she said that. What I had intended to do was give her my resignation letter. I told her that I knew what I was doing was very critical to the company, and I wasn't planning to quit outrightly, but if they would hire somebody, I would work with the person, then look for another job. 3 days later, she called me to her office and said, we don't think we can find a replacement for you. Have you ever thought of starting a company? If you start, we'll be your first client. I was shocked, but I didn't start.
And the rest is history now.
Like they say.
Okay.
Yes. So that it did a number of things for me. As a tech person who was, just wanted to sit with my computer and just work by myself, it pushed me to be an entrepreneur. Because now I needed to start thinking differently. Instead of solving problems for one company, I needed to start thinking of solving problems for more companies. Also, it helped me to start thinking, because you need to grow, you need business development. It forced me to start thinking of how to better myself, better my skills, how to hire rightly, how to train, how to build a company culture. It completely changed my perspective to my profession. And some of the things I learned as a result of that experience is what I've imbibed, and it still helps me.
So for that person
today.
watching you at the moment, what are the biggest opportunities in artificial intelligence?
Oh, wow. Well, there are opportunities everywhere. Some of the biggest opportunities, like I said, is in data analytics. Okay. Using AI to detect patterns in your data. Because patterns tell your story, they tell your data tells your story, tells your intelligence. But to the human eye, you may not see those patterns. How about you start to recognize areas where you can collect data, put it in spreadsheet. Excel is fine. And you start feeding it to even a ChatGPT and say, what are the opportunities I'm missing here? Let's say you are a fashion entrepreneur or what have you, and you are collecting data over time, over 6 months, and you feed it just into ChatGPT. What am I missing here? What products should I focus on? What days of the week should I be more intentional about? In fact, can get to a point where, because we have image recognition as well, can get to a point where you can take your camera, take a picture, and say, how do I stock? How do I arrange my products to get my customers to spend more money? Okay. So many fun things we can do. Like I said, ideas rule the world. I didn't come up with it. Somebody very great, very well respected came up with it. Sit down and think. Come up with ideas.
But a lot of people will tell